is Jay. Hope you are okay today. I'm just going to read an article and ask some questions about whether the article is correct or not. The article is from Apologetics Press, and it's called "Don't Duplications, Polyploidy and Symbiogenesis Add Material to the Genome? Jeff Miller, PhD." Now you can use their articles, so I'm going to read it all. This is Jeff Miller. According to neo-Darwinism, mutation coupled with natural selection will provide the mechanism for gradual evolutionary change for simple to complex life forms. Mutations, however, do not add new information to the genome. They simply change what is already present in the genome. Nevertheless, some allege that duplications, polyploidy, and symbiogenesis add information to an individual genome and could provide the mechanism by which Darwinian evolution would occur. Is there any legitimacy to this line of reasoning? Duplications are mutations which duplicate nucleoid or chromosomes, and in that sense they add 2 times the same information to the genome in those areas in which they occur. Notice, however, quote, that the duplication of material does not add new information, but rather repeats already existing information. Very clever. Not new information. If anything, these mutations tend to create chaos, entropy, and disruption on the genome, not evolutionary progress. In the words of population geneticist John Sanford of Cornell University, it is widely recognized that duplication, whether within a written text or within the living genome, destroys information. Rare exceptions may be found where a duplication is beneficial though does not add information in some minor way, possibly resulting in some fine-tuning, but this does not change the fact that random duplication overwhelmingly destroys information. In this respect, duplications are just like the other types of mutation. 2008, page 194. But what about sexual polydization, which is common in plants, where the uniting of an unreduced sperm with an unreduced egg results in all the information both of parents being combined into a single offspring? In such cases, Sanford explains there is a net gain in information with that single individual, but there is no more total information within the population. The information within the 2 parents was simply pooled, so no new information that is needed for progressive evolution has not been created. Interkind or macro evolution has not occurred. Symbiogenesis theory results in a similar effect. Some evolutionists believe that 2 separate symbiotic organisms, e.g. bacteria, could merge to form a new organism, a theoretical phenomenon termed symbiogenesis. According to these evolutionists, symbiogenesis could be the primary means by which the evolution occurs, rather than through the commonly accepted belief that random mutations provide the mechanism for evolutionary progression. Lynn Margulis explains that in symbiogenesis, entire sets of genes, indeed whole organisms, each with its own genome, are acquired and incorporated by others. Margulis and Sagan, 2002, page 12. So the genome form 2 separate symbiotic organisms merged to form a 3rd species. According to the theory, an acquisition of inherited genomes could allegedly lead to new species and ultimately to all species. Margulis, 1992, page 39. But even if we rationally granted that to be possible, merging 2 entire, separately functioning genomes into one organism could hardly be deemed a positive phenomenon on a universal scale. Rather, it would be catastrophic. Consider, for example, that the anomalies of different creatures would not mix well in a combined form without a complete overhaul and redesign of the system. Unless, of course, the 2 were essentially the same creature, anamically first place, with the only small differences, i.e. microevolutionary differences, not macroevolutionary differences. If the 2 were similar enough to be compatible, it cannot be argued that the macroevolution has occurred, and macroevolution is required by the naturalistic position, as with polydization and symbiogenesis merely pools previously existing genomic information. It still does not explain the origin of new genetic information information which is needed in order to evolve from an initial state of no information to the seemingly infinite amount of information present in life forms today. In other words, if an acquisition of inherited genomes could lead to new species from whom were the genomes initially inherited, a genome-less organism, how could a genome be inherited from an organism without one? Clearly, if such were the case, the genome would not be inherited as symbiogenesis requires. The possibility of an inherited genome is self-contradictory and obviously an evidenceless proposition, and further implicit in symbiogenesis theory is the fact that there would have had to initially exist separate, fully functioning genomes rich in genetic information that could somehow merge to form new species. An initial existence of fully functional species that gives rise to other species is closer to a creationist argument than an evolutionary argument. Again, with the polyploidization of symbiogenesis is merely a pooling of previously existing genetic information, it is far from being the creation of new genetic information. The question remains, where did the information of the genome originate? The answer, nowhere. If one is a naturalist, information could not originate, since no source is available, and yet the information had to come from somewhere, since evolution requires the addition of new information over time so that species can evolve into new species. It is clear that Darwinian evolution is impossible. The reasonable answer to the question of the origin of genetic information is that it was pre-programmed into the genome of species by God in the beginning. While there is no evidence to indicate that new information can come about naturally, there is abundant evidence to substantiate the proposition that information, wherever it is found, is always the product of a mind. Why not stand with the evidence? God exists, creation is true. References: Lynn Margulis, 1992, Biodiversity, Molecular Biological Domain, Symbiosis and the Kingdom, Origins, Biosystems, 273751. Lynn Margulis and Dorian Segan, 2002, Acquiring Genomes, A Theory of Origins of Species, New York, Basic Books. G.C. Sanford, Genetic Entropy and the Mystery of the Genome, Waterloo, NY, FM Publications, Kindle file. And the Apologetic Press, they allow you to use the article so long as you stipulate where you got it from, which is www.apologeticspress.org. So just a few thoughts about that. The question is this: when there is a development within a human being, whatever development that is, or any animal, from what the article is saying, it's saying that the process of development is the loss of information and not the gain of information within the gene pool. If that is the case, that is absolutely devastating to evolution. So the question is, to the evolutionist, what evidence have you got to show that new information is acquired in the evolutionary process within genes? That's the question. And it seems to me that evolution is dead in the water, because genetic entropy is a fact. Now, rather than the evolutionary scientists in the world try to threaten me and get angry with me, and all the atheists around the world start threatening me and getting angry with me, just deal with it. Just deal with the facts. Just actually deal with the facts that evolution is dead in the water, because you have not got the evidence to prove your position. If it is true, and I believe that it is true, I believe the evidence is there to show genetic entropy then all that you are doing as evolutionists and all you are doing as atheists is talking out your backside, lying to everybody, propagating religious hatred, and you're not promoting academic discussion and debate, because this kind of scholarship that is being done, you are suppressing. There is no doubt about it. You are suppressing it within the universities. You are suppressing it within YouTube. You are suppressing it, and you will not allow debates and academic discussion in this area because you are not pro-democracy as evolutionists. You are not pro-democracy as atheists, because if you were, then you would have academic debates on these subjects, but you will not. What you will do is you will intimidate people out of their chairs in universities who will do research in this area, and those on the YouTube will intimidate people off YouTube who present this kind of evidence, because you know for a fact that it is absolutely devastating to your beliefs, your mythological belief, and that's all it is. The fact is that you as evolutionists and atheists hate God. You want to hold on to your own pride, and you do not want to bow to the living God, and you have no evidence to back up evolution. And genetic entropy is the stake in the heart of evolution. So you as atheists can scream and shout and let it all out, and you as evolution scientists can get angry all you want. But the fact of the matter is, you are anti-intellectual, you are anti-democratic, and you are anti-scholarship. That's what you all are today. Anti-democratic, anti-scholarship. And you are not being fair to the Western community. You are suppressing the truth. And that's what the Bible says. You are suppressing good academic scholarship in genetic entropy. You are suppressing it. It's like a chicken. You grab hold of the neck and you strangle the chicken and you kill it. That's what you're doing with scholarship that challenges you, whether it be in the resurrection of Christ, whether it be in evolution, whether it be in any form of scholarship that challenges your beliefs. Rather than debate, have academic debates and discourse, you'd rather get hold of the neck and strangle it and choke it to death and suppress the truth. And that's all you're doing on YouTube as atheist. That's all you're doing as evolutionist in the academia, is you're suppressing the truth, because you will not debate. You will not have academic debates. You will not bring forth good scholarship in debates and discussions. You suppress those who will oppose you. You banish them to the four corners of the kingdom. If they ever dare to question you, you would rather destroy them than actually face a formal academic debate and find that your views are actually baseless. This is the experience that all Christian apologists are finding today. When we come out and we bring our scholarship to you and bring that scholarship and debate you and desire to debate you, rather than you debate us in academic formal debate, what you choose to do is annihilate us, intimidate us, abuse us, threaten us. One thing you will not do is you will not have academic debates and discussion. And you are destroyed and you are defeated before you even get off the ground, because you are not willing for good scholarship and good academic debate. This has always been your problem as evolutionists, and it's always been your problem as atheists. You are not good at academic discussion and debate. You never have and you never will. You would promote religious hate rather than academic discussion and debate. The only time you do debate or academic discussion is just to make yourself look good for a little while. But then you make sure you get rid of the opposition. If it's an evolutionist who becomes a creationist, you make sure they lose their job at the university. If it's a Christian apologist who actually can debate on the resurrection of Christ, you make sure you slander and attack that person off YouTube. Wherever the opposition is intellectually, you fail to defeat it in argumentation and debate, because genetic entropy is a fact you can't face. Sad to say, but atheism and the evolutionists are intellectually bankrupt. They are pumping out mythologies and maintaining those mythologies with the most archaic, barbaric, Stalinistic methodology that you've ever seen in the history of human thought. Because nobody, bar nobody, can challenge these people without them getting angry at you and pushing you away from your university job or away from your academic research and making sure that they lose your job. They will make sure that you lose your job. They will make sure that you are not allowed to lecture in a university again. They will make sure that your books are not published. They will make sure that they demonize you so much that no one will talk to you. And that is because they're more into using Stalinistic methods than actually academic debate and discussion. These people will not debate. These people will not have academic discussion. These people will not engage in formal academic debate. And it's because they're pumping out mythology. It's because they are pumping out mythology. It's because they are pumping out mythology. That's all they're doing. Look at me. I'm an expert in historical Jesus studies. I'm an expert on the resurrection of Christ. I'm literally an expert in it. There is no one in the world today, apart from at least 5 or 6 people, who knows more about the resurrection of Christ and defense of it than me. And yet these atheists will not have formal academic debates, but will prefer to demonize people, to slander people, and even threaten people. But they will not come out and have formal academic debates. This is what we're up against, folks. We're not up against people who want academic discussion and debate. They can have all the shows they want. They can talk on their Google Hangouts and make themselves look intelligent, but they will not have people who are experts in the area come and challenge them. They will not have an expert on the resurrection of Christ come out and have formal academic debates with them, because they know that if I did that on any of their Google Hangouts, they would look stupid. And so they keep the experts away. They demonize the experts who can defeat them in academic debate and discussion. They will not have academic debate and discussion, and therefore the mythologies continue. And here is another mythology. Evolution is a mythology. Genetic entropy is the death knell to evolution. The reason why I'm angry in this video is because this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. Genetic entropy is the truth, and it is sad to say that these people are suppressing it. They are not having any academic debates with any of these people who know about this truth. Rather, they will defame these people, attack these people, and make sure that these people lose their jobs. If you don't believe me, you type in the video expelled, and you go and look at some of the university lecturers that lost their jobs within that video. In that video, you will find people lost their jobs because they challenged evolution, and some of them weren't even Christians, some of them weren't even creationists. They just wanted to do some thinking, and they lost their jobs. If you don't believe me, look at how Antony Flew was treated when he was an atheist and he became a deist. How the atheist community vilified him and called him all the names under the sun, and suppressed him in a way of expressing his views. This is the kind of community on the World Wide Web that we're up against. They suppress academic discussion and debate. They will not engage. They will not engage. They will not engage. Thank you.